ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop. Come on, take me higher. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for Fight Night Fortunes with good friend and colleague, Mr. Lou Finocchiaro. Go follow him on X or Twitter at GamLou, and of course at GamLou.com. Sneak Teep podcast on Monday, Bout Business podcast after the weigh-ins. You can't get anything better, so make sure you jump on board there. Headliner today, UFC Las Vegas 105. Is Murphy worthy of a minus 300 money line versus Emmitt? I'm looking at DraftKings right now. It's up to 310, so we'll get Lou's opinion on that and much more. First and foremost, a shout-out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play. Download the app. It is free. Travis, Zach, Guy, myself, Amber, Holly, Carol, Bucks, Ali. The list is endless. Just jump on board. You'll have a great time there. AtlantaSteaksandSeafood.com. Terry Smith. Follow him at Facebook and then head back to AtlantaSteaksandSeafood.com. Steaks, seafood, chops, appetizers, wine, the best in the business. 4 subscription packages. Set it and forget it. Every 30 days, Terry will drop off a box of protein that will take care of you all the way through the month. The only thing you'll need to do is to get an extra propane tank. And last but never least, Viva Tequila Seltzer, 6 flavors in all. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. So without further ado, Mr. Lou Finocchiaro.
Good afternoon, Jeff. Good afternoon, those tuning in. We are now 10 weeks into an 11-week run. I mean, I can't think of being any happier unless it was a 12-week run, but we'll take a week off and then get started again. It was a good event last week, and we can talk about any of that if you'd like. We have another good event this week, different, more obscure names, an Apex card, but keeps us on our toes week to week. We don't have time to gloat, and we never would anyway, and we don't have time to get our dauber down either because there's another card the following week. That's what's great about the UFC.
One quick question about last weekend. You had talked Mexico City, the altitude, and you know, I watched the fights in the main event, Moreno versus Usyk. Something about Usyk, he lost to a decision there. I get it. Moreno won the fight. I don't think he won it as dramatically as some people thought. But I want to ask you the future for Usyk. I saw something about him that, I think now he's lost, 3 in a row, and you got to kind of stir the ore and get back into the winner's circle here. Thoughts on Usyk moving forward?
Well, my thoughts are that when Usyk took a championship fight on his 4th UFC fight, and when you make that big of a jump, and he had the talent to be able to do that for them in that championship bout against Pantoja, he looked really well and lost a really tight decision. He's so much bigger than Pantoja, and he fought great. Well, now he can't return to where he was. That was such a step up. So they keep him in that aquarium, and they give him another top 5 guy in Kai Kara France, then another top 5 guy in Moreno. That's a lot for a young guy getting rushed up, taking a big step to be able to do. For instance, there's this young man named Raul Rosas who was on last week's card, and Rosas fought a guy that was manageable. Excuse me, I'm gonna pull out. I think it was Vergara. No, Vince Morales. Excuse me. So a couple Mexicans, both of Mexican descent, living in America. Rosas is 20 years old. He has Morales was his 5th fight before he turned 21, a UFC record. He had the opportunity to fight a guy in Rob Font, and he was advised, don't take that fight. You know, it's a competitive fight. You could win, but once you jump up into that level, he can't return down, and he isn't really ready. It shows me this Rosas kid is listening. He's getting good advice, and he's listening. So that's a long way around for me to try and answer your question. And the question is, I think they made a mistake letting Usyk fight those killers too long. He wasn't quite ready for that elite competition. Those guys have sharpened their steel on each other for so long. Now, what do they do with him? I think they take him a step or two back. You got to get the kid a win or two underneath him. Because he does have championship talent, in my opinion, just doesn't look like it now.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Rosas because I watched that fight and the hype and, you know, the buildup that he was getting, and it was a very ugly, I don't want to use the word boring, a lot of grappling, a lot on the floor. Now, again, I'm not the expert here. I hadn't seen a few of Rosas's fights leading up to this, as you know, potentially where he could be going. I was not impressed because I was probably expecting a lot more. Was that shame on me, Lou?
No, I won't say that. Expectation is tough. I mean, he's fighting in the world's most elite fight organization and legitimate UFC competition. As a 20-year-old kid come in with really solid grappling. I know, by the way, he's still growing and evolving. He'll move out of this weight class eventually, but he's got the raw talent because he's such a deft wrestler. He's athletic and tough and durable. So they'll eventually fold in enough fluency in striking and evading strikes and rounding him out so that in another year or two, that kid's going to be a force, I believe, especially understanding that he listened to the people around him, advise him that maybe this was not the time to take that kind of a jump. Rob Font's still a pedigreed top 12, is it featherweight, bantamweight? What is Rosas? Is a bantamweight. So I like that the kid's listening. I like he said no to the fight. Let's see who he gets next. It'll be a step up from Morales. And that means he's almost ready for Font after this test, perhaps.
This week, Fight Night Las Vegas 105, Saturday in Las Vegas, as you like to say, in the Apex. Not many fans, small ring, as you like to say. 13 fights in all, 4 big boy fights, 170 or higher, 7 of the 135 and under, 2 featherweights, and 1, of course, is the main event. Before we dive into the fights that we're going to break down today, that you will be breaking down, Lou, give us an overall outlook for the average UFC fan, what to expect this weekend.
Well, I think what we're going to see is more speed and skill because we have so many athletes that are small. And when, you know, you talk about the smaller UFC cage and you're 135 pounds, 125 pounds, now there's still plenty of maneuvering room. The smaller cage really affects those 170 or those big boy fights. And so there's a couple of those there, but a lot of times those are such close quarters. You get two polar bears groping for 3 rounds. And there's a couple of those on this fight card. So I would say speed and skill, you're not going to know a lot of the names, but there's a couple of fights on here, and we've picked them out pretty well that I think we've highlighted in. Of course, we always do the main and co-main, but the other two, one is a tremendous clash of styles, and the other one's going to be an absolute banger of a brawl.
Well, we'll dig right into the first fight here. I have DraftKings live right now. Davey Grant versus Daniel Santos, currently live on DraftKings. Santos minus 148, Davey Grant plus 124, over 2.5, Lou, minus 200.
Santos opens minus 205, so there's been a flow of money on Grant. We used Grant last week on the Bout Business podcast that you get on gamblu.com. Members have that. We parlayed him with a huge favorite. David Rodriguez last week was minus 400, but we're sitting on Grant now at a plus 190. So we have an enhanced opportunity on the underdog here, who is now priced, as you say, at 120, whatever, 130, depending where you shop. In Santos, you got a younger, longer, taller, faster athlete, no question about it. But in Grant, you have the experience. He's been in with killers, and he's done quite well against killers. When he's lost, he's usually at the end of some scratch your head, crazy, stupid decision. This kid, Grant, 39 years old, is getting discounted because of his age. I don't like to take the older fighter, but this guy, Grant, is focused, furious, frenetic, and he's ready. And I really think he's a live dog here. Released him, like I say, a week ago when these lines came out.
The second fight that we will break down right now, give me a second here. Torres Finney versus Robert Valentin Frey. Right now, Finney is up to minus 305. Valentin Frey plus 245. Over 1.5, Lou, is now minus 160.
Jeff, this is our clash of styles here. Finney is listed in the program as, 5'8" or something, but that's a laugher. He's more like 5. He's shorter than that. In fact, if you gave Finney 2 more inches, he'd be perfectly square. Yet he's built like a bowling ball, but has the explosivity of a hand grenade. He's highly athletic for his physique. And really, I'm giving him a bunch of heat. But when you see the guy, he's chiseled. He's just short, squat wrestler. He can fight for days. He's got an unbelievably positive attitude. He knows he's had to overcome his short stature his whole life. He welcomes it. And he's really a great athlete to watch. Now, they put him in with this long, tall Swiss striker. Knees, elbows, spinning kicks. Not as much spinning kicks because he's Swiss, but he's a Muay Thai fighter, going to hit you with straight knees and punches. And so there's the intrigue. How's Finney going to get inside to be able to get Valentin on his back? Now, Valentin has 7 submissions, 7 KOs. This guy's a finisher. So he wants to keep Finney on the outside at his range and then try and time him with an elbow or a straight knee, maybe an uppercut as he rushes in to engage. So the stylistic matchup here is going to be fascinating. Long, tall, chiseled striker, short, squat, hand grenade of a wrestler, and we got ourselves a great fight. Finney's awful big favorite, but it would be hard for me to roll against him. If I did, I'd take Valentin on some kind of fluke KO. Maybe he could catch him. But I even think that's hard to do, basically because Finney is a big old melon and sits right on his shoulders. Guy has no neck. So I don't know how he's vulnerable to a strike, but this will be really a super fight to watch.
Shout out to Michael Walker. Good info, Lou. Really appreciate your work. Thank you, Michael, so much.
Thank you, Michael.
Third fight, the co-main event here. We're going to go right to the cards here. Sabatini versus Brito, and right now Pat Sabatini plus 190, Joe Anderson Brito minus 230, currently over 1.5 minus 154. Lou.
And here I take it easy on Jeff for the names this week, and he calls the Italian kid's name wrong. And that's where you got nothing but Italians around you. How do you get Sabatino? Come on now, Jeff. Sabatini. And the dude's a wrestling savant. He's wrestling out of one of the top gyms where we just saw Sean Brady win. Joe Pfeiffer's from that gym. He was supposed to fight last week against Gastelum. That fight's postponed. So Sabatini is an unrelenting forward pressure, vice grip American wrestler, high in IQ, high in cardio, high in energy, and he's taking on this savage Brito, who, yeah, he's a BJJ artist, but really he's a Muay Thai striker. He's a bully, he's aggressive, and he comes straight at you to finish your night with strikes. And so the great clash here will be, can Sabatini get in without Brito striking him? Can Brito keep this fight up without Sabatini taking it down? If Sabatini takes Brito down, I'm afraid that he will overwhelm Brito. And Brito's been taken down by fighters less able in wrestling than Sabatini is. Consequently, Sabatini has one thing that wrestlers all have to get used to, and many wrestlers also have. What they have to get used to is how to be fluent moving on their feet in order to deliver strikes, and they have to be able to evade strikes effectively. That is not something, wrestling isn't something you learn overnight, and striking and strike evasion is not something you learn overnight either. And wrestlers have a tremendous responsibility to round out their fight game by learning that. Sabatini's still in tremendous development. He not only is a subpar striker, but he comes in with a paper mache chin. So he's been flushed before and the lights go out. And he's in with one of the killers of the division. So Sabatini has to navigate this into the second or third round, try and take some of the steam out of this crazy Tasmanian devil from Brazil, and the Brazilian going to come out, try and hit his head into the 10th row. So we have a tremendous fight to watch here. You can see the total's 1.5 rounds over minus 150. It is indicative of somebody probably finishing this fight. If you look at DraftKings, the points handicap in a 3-round fight is Sabatini getting 7.5. That's usually indicative of what the market thinks is going to be a Brito steamroll. But I would say not so fast, my friends. My article earlier in the week on VSiN basically said that Brito's a bargain at minus 200, and that's what I thought then. But as I study this fight a little bit more, there are surely ways for Sabatini to win this fight. And I hope Brito is more respectful of his abilities than I am right now, but I do lean Brito here.
Sabatini, I guarantee you none of our watchers right now, the last big Sabatini I knew was a female tennis star named Gabriella Sabatini. That goes way.
Cute as a button, that young gal too, sure. But she wasn't, I don't think she was Italian. I think she was like Spanish or Portuguese.
100% correct. That is correct. The main event, Lou, the main event here, we got Emmitt versus Murphy, and currently right now, Murphy minus 310, Josh Emmitt plus 250, over 4.5 minus 188. So a slight lean, probably getting to the cards here, Lou.
Yeah, and not much different than openers. I was surprised at openers, honestly. Murphy's ranked 10th, Emmitt 8th. I never put any stock into rankings or Aesop's fables. But that is the facts here. But the other fact is that Emmitt's been off over a year. His last time we saw him fight, he hit Bryce Mitchell with I believe it was a right hand, and it kept Bryce Mitchell away from fighting for a year, just recovering from the devastation. Emmitt has profuse power. He's a legit top 8 featherweight. He's fought the elite in his division. he went with Ilya Topuria 5 rounds, and even though he got the brakes beat out of him, he was still there at the end. This guy is tough, he's durable, and he says he's been fighting at fractions of his capacity before that. He steps into this fight really confident, but 40 years old. Now, Murphy, on the other hand, comes to us from England, longer, taller, and when Emmitt fought a long, tall featherweight some fights back in Yair Rodriguez, he didn't fare well navigating to get inside. That's what Murphy's going to have to compound, is that difficulty for Emmitt. And Murphy has the tools to keep this standing, move away, use his distance, but these are 45ers, and this is a small cage. So Emmitt is certainly aided by the fact that this is a small cage here. Will that help him catch up to Murphy? Because Murphy's 33 at the prime of his game and a faster, more athletic guy. So will Emmitt be able to catch up to Murphy, and can Murphy keep away from Emmitt? That's the intrigue of this fight. But I'm still not able to get past the line in the fight. And Emmitt at plus 260 is something that we released at 280 earlier in the week. And I think that if you want to have a little bit of fun, you go, again, those with DraftKings, you can get into some of the props and such, winning method. I'm looking it up now. If you go Emmitt via KO, TKO, that's a 450. I think if he wins, it's because he touches Lerone Murphy. And even though I have to give Murphy his due, and he should be the favorite in this fight, the number's out of whack. Emmitt shouldn't be 260. He should maybe be 160, 180.
Next week, UFC 314 South Beach. We're going to get jiggy with it in Miami. Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. A little preview on that, Lou.
I've been trying to avoid talking about that fight because I'm going back and forth and back and forth. You know, a young lion against a guy in Volkanovski now has no excuses. He took the fight against Topuria too fast after Makhachev. We all knew it. The ones that knew it got paid because we knew what was going to happen. Now there's a different handicap here. Bolt comes the favorite, and I think rightfully so. But I'm not ready to handicap that one, because it's just like a good ball player. Or a fighter. I'm not looking to the next fight. I'm looking to the one right here in front of me because it's a formidable challenge.
Well, we can't wait, of course, here. But, of course, we got Fight Night in Las Vegas, 105 on Saturday. Scroller's been going the whole time, Lou. Everyone knows on Twitter or X to find you at GamLou. They can catch you on VSiN as well. Mondays, your Sneak Teep podcast. Fridays, your About Business podcast. But as we always end this segment here, tell them about your website and, of course, your charity that you work for as well.
The website is gamblou.com, and that's a one-stop shop if you want to blow 10 minutes just figuring out what I do and what I've done for 50-some years. But what also I do is try and give a little back. We have a tab at the right-hand top of the webpage, the San Xavier Mission tab. It is the oldest mission in Arizona. We donate to it. We made the first of our several donations for 2025 just yesterday. Happy that you allow me to mention that, Jeff. Gamblou.com, and Friday, the About Business podcast will have my final releases for this week's card, and it'll be available on Gamblou.com. Hit the About Business podcast tab. And Jeffrey, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you as always. Next week, again, we'll be going over the pay-per-view in South Beach, then a week off. Is that correct?
Then we got a week off, and then we'll come right back. But it'll go quick. I know you guys will miss me, so I'll come storming right back after a week, because I'll tell you what, with no UFC, you just got baseball, and in a month, there'll be a third of the people betting baseball daily that there are now.
From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Investor, one and only Lou Finocchiaro at GamLou. We wish everyone a blessed day. Enjoy yourself. Have some fun. Enjoy the fights, and we will see you soon.